Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Raiders Sports Network. I'm your host, Matthew Bornhorst, and alongside me is Jared Johnson. Tonight, we're going to be bringing you some girls lacrosse action with your Regis Jesuit Raiders taking on the Valor Eagles.
Two very good teams tonight. Raiders having a 7-2 record on the season. Valor starting off strong, but right now they're just above 500. As the ref's doing a quick stick check and should be in for a great battle against these two teams.
Yeah, and the Raiders really coming out here looking for redemption. You know, they lost this game last year against the Eagles, and they're really looking to take that title back. And coming out strong, 4-0 in league. It's something that you're really looking for, because sometimes those out-of-state games can be, and out-of-league games can be a little trickier.
Yes, and Raiders learn from their two losses, and like you said, losing to Valor last year, they really want to put a gas pedal on them early and do not want to let up, and Valor can take the lead early, and if Raiders do not want to play catch-up lacrosse tonight.
Yeah, and we're going to really be expecting some high-powered lacrosse here tonight, because we have the Raiders led by Captain Mariah Daly. And that's just going to be a good leader on that squad. She's a captain this year, and being a senior, she's a real good presence on this team.
Yes, and Valor also has a good captain in Danny Malinsky, also a senior captain, and her presence on the field is very known.
Number 3, attack, sophomore, Tess Scott. Number 4, attack, junior, Gabby Maston.
Right. And while they're doing player introductions, we're going to take a quick break here.
Number 6, senior, Maddie Altman. Number 9, midfielder, senior, Isabella Nicoli. Number 10, attack, sophomore, Lexi Lee. Number 13, midfielder, junior, Maddie Allen. Number 14, attack, junior, Tegan McNally. Number 15, attack, freshman, Sarah Fabian. Number 16, attack, sophomore, Maria Vaselli. Number 17, midfielder, freshman, Peyton Cheadle. Number 18, goalie, junior, Addie Tisdale. Number 22, midfielder, freshman, Lauren Rismani. Number 24, midfielder, senior, Addie Wilker. Now introducing your Regis Raiders, coached by Catherine Aves, assistant coach Stephanie Pickett, and Kent Lester. Number 2, goalie, sophomore, Antonia Botuela. Number 3, midfielder, freshman, Reagan Vanderbilt. Number 4, attack, senior, Hannah Lester. Number 5, midfielder, freshman, Chrissy Rail. Number 7, attack, sophomore, Sydney Abel. Number 8, midfielder, sophomore, Molly Moran. Number 9, defense, senior, Ellie Corcoran. Number 11, attack, senior, Captain Mariah Daly. Number 12, midfielder, freshman, Kate Lord. Number 13, midfielder, senior, Tess Inhelder. Number 16, junior, defense, Gabby Eckerd. Number 18, midfielder, freshman, Grace Wagon. Number 19, midfielder, junior, captain, Sydney Wagon. Number 20, attack, junior, Maddie Ferguson. Number 24, attack, senior, captain, Maya Fair. Number 28, attack, freshman, Molly McCarthy. Number 33, defense, freshman, Isabella Marquiol. Number 40, defense, junior, Sarah Heblin. And number 44, defense, sophomore, Bella Ames. Please stand and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem.
And now we're awaiting the draw, which will start this game. And another big factor in this game, which is more environmental, is we have large gusts of winds, upwards of 30 mile-an-hour winds with 50-mile-an-hour gusts at times, which really affects how the players can pass and catch, and even more importantly, communication on the field. With the wind drowning you out all the time, it's hard to hear other players.
Yes, and with the wind at their back, whoever has the wind at their back, they're going to have a little bit of an upper edge as they don't have to run as hard. If you're facing the wind, it's going to be difficult and tire you out, and short passes are going to be key, because if you get that ball a little too high up in that wind, it's going to be really hard to control it and keep the ball in your possession.
Yeah, and also just even with their sticks themselves, just moving that through the wind can be a tough. So catching the ball too, even more so than throwing it, it becomes more difficult. And that's just one of the things that they're going to have to face here. But as the Raiders are taking the field, we're going to be expecting to see a high-paced game nonetheless.
Indeed. Both teams have quite a few younger players, and it's great to see that, as these teams are going to have pretty good competition throughout the next few years.
Yeah, especially with Regis already designating 2 junior captains alongside 2 senior captains, with Sydney Wigan, who you might recognize from basketball, who is another star out there, who will be taking the draw tonight. And it's that multi-sport athlete that Regis really prides itself on producing here.
Yes, and a lot of multi-sport athletes on this team. Her sister, Grace Wagon, also a freshman on this team, also a freshman basketball player. Both show a lot of athleticism and should be fun to watch tonight.
And also Sydney Abel, who also is out there on the girls' rugby team. And so now we're going to get this kicked off. And the draw is going to be picked up by the Raiders. Ball moving quickly right down the lane. And that's going to be a shot and a score by the Raiders. And that's going to be Kate Lord with the goal right off the bat within 10 seconds. And that's the speed. And that's really how fast you can play that game off of the draw if the ball gets going your way. And that's going to be a good momentum shift for the Raiders.
Yes, and that is exactly what the Raiders wanted to happen. Score early and quick, and they don't not want to let up on this. And I would expect them to see a lot of goals as early as possible.
Yeah, and back again. Sydney on the draw. It looks like there's going to be a penalty, and it's going to be Raiders ball off the draw. Raiders taking it up. Looks like they're going to settle the ball down and try to set up their offense. Ball is being taken behind X. Looking for cutters down in the lane. Ball's moved back up the alley, across the top. Raiders looking for opportunities. Let me see, cut down the lane, but it's swallowed up by the Valor defense, and it looks like we're going to have shooting space penalty.
The wind has slowed down a little bit, so it's easier to control that ball, but every once in a while we get one of those strong gusts, and you can really see it take its toll on the players.
Yeah. Shot saved by Valor's goalie, Annie Tisdale. Looking for the clear. Clear being well defended by the Raiders, not giving any man. And again, in girls lacrosse, the goalie cannot advance the ball, meaning the goalie herself cannot take the ball up the field because of her pads. So they're going to have to find some, Valor's going to have to find some open man. They're moving it up the field, and the pass is almost intercepted. And it's taken back by Sydney Wigan, who's going to be moving it up the middle of the field, looking for a pass. Finds an open man on the side, moving around, and they're going to settle it down. Pass into the middle, and that's going to be swallowed up again. Ball's down on the ground. Loose ball, which is picked up by the Raiders, and it looks like they're going to try and settle the ball and set up their offense again.
Raiders showing their speed early and doing a great job of moving that ball around.
Yeah, and even moving the ball around and playing defense, getting back on clears, because that's one of the most important parts of this game, getting ball back on turnovers and keeping possession. Ball moving back around X. Looks like something's happening. A lot of movement off ball. And that's going to be another goal for the Raiders.
Great heads-up play right there as Sydney Wagon was able to find the player to the left of the net and a great shot. They put it in the upper right hand of the goal.
And that's going to be Maddie Ferguson, another junior captain there. And that's the production, the leadership that you can see. A heads-up play by Sydney, finding the open man and being able to finish there, and bringing the score to 2-0 with
22 minutes left in this first quarter.
And we see Wigan on the draw, taking it against number 22, Rizmani, for the Eagles. And the draw is up, going over to the Raiders side. Ball's loose. They're fighting for it. Sydney Wigan bodies the other man. And that's going to be called a penalty on the Raiders, and it's going to be Valor ball. And another girls lacrosse rule. All players must stop where they are when a penalty is called. And so now it's going to be the Eagles moving the ball up the field quickly. Moving it back around X. Cutters on the inside. That's going to be number 6, Maddie Altman, moving it across the field. Looks like the Eagles are trying to move the ball around the outside, trying to look for Cutters on the inside to be left open. But right now the Raiders are covering it pretty well. You have a pick off ball. Picked up well by the Raiders. Ball moved back up top. Looks like a take. Pass open in the middle to Maston, who's swallowed up by the Raider defense. Two women on her. And the ball is going to be settled back outside.
It's our first time seeing the Raiders defense in this game, and they're doing a great job.
Yeah, they really have the presence to body when necessary. Of course, and the girls can't stick check as easily. And it looks like it's going to be a penalty on the Raiders. And this will be an opportunity. Speed is necessary for this to be able to get in front of the goal. And that's going to be an errant pass by the Eagles, and that's going to be Raider ball.
Just lost control of that ball as she tried passing it down to the left side of the net. It flew right over the top of her. This will be the Raiders' ball.
The Raiders moving it quickly. Quickly up the field. Looks like Valor's going to be able to stop this. Still driving down the alley. Swallowed up by 3 defenders. Moves it back outside. Now the Raiders can set up their offense. An open man in the middle, and that's going to be another goal for the Raiders.
Valor struggling there right there as they did not see the open man on the left side as she faked him out and just took it to the left and by herself brought it in and scored that goal.
And that was a goal by Maddie Ferguson, number 20, assisted by Sydney Wygan. And again, that was just good. That was just a good two-man game right there, setting the pick and then finding the open lane to the goal, and just a good pass and a good catch, which allowed for a finish there.
Second assist by Sydney Wagon. We should see a lot of that tonight as she is not a selfish player and always looks for the open man.
Yeah. Now the draw being taken. It's going to be picked up by the Raiders, number 18, Grace Wagon. And now the defense getting involved. The ball is settled by the Raiders being moved up the field. And now another Raider open in the middle, but the pass was missed and looks like it's going to be Valor ball. Setting up another clear for the Eagles. Let's see if the Raiders can repeat that clear last time and stop the Eagles again.
It's a great opportunity as the Raiders mark up all these women. They wasting a lot of time on the clock, and as Valor is struggling to get this ball back into play.
You see again, a lot of off-ball movement, trying to find picks. And this ball almost intercepted, picked up by number 15, Sarah Fabian, for the Eagles. And the ball's moved up, an open man. The Raiders being able to get back on defense and stopping the ball. But the Eagles still have the ball on offense and are able to settle down and get into their offense, making some substitutions, bringing on number 12 on defense. Moving the ball back up top. The Eagles clearing through, trying to find a lane for a dodge, but the pass is errant, and it will be picked up by the Raiders, moving back up the field. Good press by the Eagles, stopping the ball, forcing Wygan to turn back. And that pass will go over the head, but it will be picked up by another Raider who will be able to get in front of the goal and score. That's another goal for the Raiders, bringing the score to 4-0.
Raiders definitely coming out fast as they put up their fourth goal. And Eagles going to have to find something quickly if they want to stay in this game.
And that goal was scored by number 11, Mariah Daly, another senior captain. And like we said, she had the presence of mind, saw the ball go over her head, but kept go over her teammate's head, and picked up that ball and found the open lane. And now you can hear the wind howling still.
It is not fun to be out in that wind, and if you're not moving around quickly, it's going to be pretty cold out there.
Yeah, especially with the sun setting now. The temperature is really going to start setting in. And we're going to see how the Raiders are going to be able to adapt to that. Now the draw. It looks like another penalty on the draw, and they're going to redraw. Let's see how the Raiders do on this one. See some bodying on the outside of the circle, and they're going to have to separate those two players. And that's going to be number 6, Maddie Altman, and number 18, Grace Wygan, for each of the teams. Seeing a little aggression out there.
Trying to get in her head and cause a off-ball penalty. Great job, and trying to do that, but ref saw it happen.
Yeah, and sometimes, you still have to keep it in mind, but it looks like what could have been a good move but for the Eagles, but Rizmani missed the ground ball, and now it's going to be moved back up the other way by the Raiders. And now number 12, Kate Lord, moving the ball quickly up the field, but it's going to be swallowed up by the Eagles. And now the Eagles are going to have to set up their offense. Wigan pushing it up the center, popping it out, looking for an open man. Now being double-teamed by the Eagles. Finds another man in front of the goal, and that's going to be another assist for Sydney Wigan.
Another great goal there. So they take a 5-0 lead with 16 minutes left. And great job. Kate Lord with another goal also tonight.
Yeah, and there you saw just that's what happens when if you try to double team the ball, you're going to leave somebody open, and that was just a good heads-up play by Sydney, getting her hands free, being able to make that pass in the middle, and then being able to finish one-on-one, and then Lord being able to finish one-on-one with the goalie.
Yes, Raiders doing a great job keeping their heads up and looking for an open man.
And it looks like the Eagles are going to take a timeout right now, as will we on the Raider Sports Network. So join us back here after the timeout. And we're back on the Raider Sports Network. The score is 5-0 Raiders with 16 minutes and 37 seconds left in the first half. The Raiders going to take the field again for another draw after another goal by Kate Lord, assisted by Sydney Wigan.
Eagles, hopefully this timeout really helped them and they can calm down and start getting back into this game.
Yeah, taking a timeout this early, they really need to coalesce as a team again and find what they can do to combat this Raider offense. And now we have the draw. Going up over to the Raider side, picked up by the Raiders and being moved quickly by Grace Wigan, who's going to be stopped, finding an open man on the side and moving the ball back out. And so now we see the ball being moved along the perimeter. And it looks like the Eagles were offsides there a little. Girl running back. It looks like the Eagles are going to be called for a check, which is going to give the Raiders a chance to score here quickly, with number 11, Mariah Daly, taking the ball here and having a pretty clear shot on the goal.
Just left of it. had an open shot, but could not capitalize on that opportunity.
Yeah. And now we're going to see the ball being taken back from X. Being worked back around the perimeter by the Raiders. A lot of cutters on the inside. Faking, but moving the ball back around. And we see aggressive defense here by the Eagles. Ball moving back the other way. Cutter on the inside. And they're going to clear that for a dodge by number 11. And that's going to be saved by the goalie. And it's going to be picked up by the Eagles and moved back for a clear. And so right now we have another clear and another opportunity for the Eagles. And again, the same off-ball movement, trying to find an open goal in the middle, and the pass is dropped, and now it's going to be lead to a scrum, and that's going to be an off-ball push by the Eagles, which is going to be Raider ball, and now it's going to be moving back the other way.
Eagles just struggling with keeping possession, and with any sport, possession is key to stay in a game, and Raiders just doing a great job of keeping their possession and capitalizing on the opportunities that they've been given.
Yeah, and in lacrosse specifically, the transition game is really important, just because if you can't get the ball down onto your side of the field, you don't have an opportunity to score. So it's going to be really important for the Eagles to be able to get the ball settled on their side of the field and take possession and find their shots. But right now the Raiders are just doing an impeccable job at stopping the clears.
Again, wasting more time on this clock, really helping the Raiders get settled down.
Yeah, that's another important thing. But the ball is going to be thrown out, which is again going to be Raider ball, and another transition turnover by the Eagles. So the ball is going to be picked up. And the ball is going to be picked up by number 9, excuse me, Ellie Corcoran. And the ball is going to be moved down to X. Working around the goal. And finding another open man across the goal, and it's going to be intercepted by the goalie. And number 6, Maddie Altman, wide open in the middle of the field, is going to push the ball down. 2 Raiders meet interceptor in the middle of the field. The ball's going to be moved out and across the field. And Altman's left back open, moves it to X. And she's moving it back on. Number 4, Maston, taking the ball up the alley, moving it across the top. And now they're going to clear for a dodge across the middle, and it's going to be swallowed up. And the pass is dropped but picked back up by the Eagles. We're seeing a lot of fast movement here, really pushing for a goal, but they're settling it down now. Driving down the lane. Looks like it's going to be a check on the Raiders, which is going to give the Eagles an opportunity here. And this is going to be 22 Rizmani, who's going to take, number 6 Altman, who scores for the Eagles, and that's going to bring the score to 5-1.
Raiders doing a good job there, playing some defense, but Eagles got a good opportunity off a penalty, which led to a score.
Yeah, and that's where penalties really come into play, because penalties are going to clear out a space for a path to the goal, and if you can have a quick shot there, then that's going to be an easy goal every time.
Would not be surprised if we see a very aggressive approach right here by the Raiders as they want to try increasing that lead again.
Yeah, especially driving. It looks like the wind's dying down a bit, but still a factor. And here's with the draw. It's going to go again to the Raiders. Wagon using one arm to pick that ball out of the air and pushing the ball up the field, settling it down on offense, and allowing the offense to get settled. It looks like the Eagles are going to be called offsides again. Now the ball is going to be set, giving the Raiders an opportunity to push the ball towards the goal. Good ball. The ball is going to be moved out to Wagon. But they're going to be called for another penalty.
A little bit of a sloppy play there, but good opportunity for the Raiders.
Yeah, now giving Wagon a shot at the goal. And she drives into the middle, but it's going to be picked up and moved back around, wheeling around quickly, trying to capitalize on the confusion on the defense. With the Eagles playing a man-to-man and having to collapse on every play, if you can drive to the goal consistently, you can really get that defense off guard. The Raiders driving again. It looks like there's going to be another penalty. This time, I think 3 seconds a 3-second penalty for staying too long inside of the arc by the defense, which is going to give the Raiders a shot on goal. It's going to be moved out, and the Raiders are going to continue their offense, moving it around the perimeter. Looking for cutters inside. Ball is going to be moved over top. Now finding the open man. Ball moving quickly, trying to find gaps in the Eagles' defense. Number 7, Abel, back behind X. Wagon inside, and it's going to be swallowed up. And it's going to be a foul on the Eagles again, showing again how penalties can affect the game here, giving the Raiders another shot on goal. Yet again.
A little bit of confusion there by Valor's defenses, trying to get set, but unable to keep on getting called for penalties.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you can't do. You can't run in front of a shot.
And again.
Yeah, there's a lot of rules like that. Can't run into a shot. Also, can't dangerous propelling, which is the opposite of that, which you can't shoot. But Raiders are going to be able to push through that and find the goal to bring the score to 6-1.
Goal number 20, unassisted, Maddie Ferguson.
Maddie Ferguson with that goal, faked a high shot and then took it low, and goalie did not see that one coming.
Yeah, and especially to avoid that dangerous propellant shot, you can't. Coming over the top is really dangerous in a crowded situation like that. Switching to a sidearm and being able to find the goal will be a surefire shot every time. And now we'll have to see how the Eagles will respond to that after another goal coming off of a penalty. Now the draw. Picked up over to the Raider side, and it looks like it's still being fought over, but it's going to be picked up by the Raiders. And it's going to be moved up. The Raiders being able to settle the ball. Moving the ball back up top. Eagles almost being offsides again. But the Raiders settling the ball with aggressive defense by Valor. Really looking to get the ball back. It looks like it's going to be a timeout called by the Raiders. And with that, we're going to take a timeout here too on the Raider Sports Network. Welcome back to the Raider Sports Network. Your Regis Jesuit Raiders are up 6-1 against the Valor Eagles with 7:44 left to go in the first half. And now the ball is going to be picked up again by the Raiders. And we're going to see what they're going to do on offense. Right now the Eagles have been really aggressive on defense, trying to get that ball back, probably looking for another goal. Now they're going to start. Moving the ball down the alley. Coming across, dodging towards the center. The ball's going to be thrown away, and it's going to be picked back up by the Raiders. Sidney Wagon moving the ball, trying to drive in towards the crease. Can't find a lane, and now is going to settle the ball down, looking for a pass inside. Guarded closely by the Eagles. Finds a man inside, but this shot's going to go out of bounds.
Good look there, just unable to capitalize. Having the open man on the right side, but just a little bit too right at the net.
And now the ball is going to be taken from behind the net. Moved across to Sidney Abel. Back behind X. And now it's going to be moved over to the alley. Driving in. Moving it back out to the right side. Passing it up top. And again, the Eagles with a really aggressive defense out here with 6:30 left to go in the first half. And now finding an open man in the middle, but it's going to be swallowed up, and it's going to be a foul on the Eagles.
Almost had an open shot. Great move there. She put a little spin move on them and had a great look, but a penalty came in.
And she just lost the ball, but now the ball is going to be moved out, and another penalty. And with these penalty shots, it's really tough for the defense to get back in there, which just causes more penalties, and it can be a rough cycle for some teams on defense. And it looks like the Eagles are succumbing to that too. And another low shot, which is going to go in for the Raiders, bringing the score to 7-1.
Regis goal, number 19, Sidney Wagon.
Sidney Wagon again with a goal as she's all over the place, having a few assists and now another goal. Great game for her tonight.
And just dominating the field on offense and on the draws, being able to give the Raiders the ball almost every time. I think the Raiders have lost one draw.
Yes, and they're definitely doing a good job after losing to Valor last year. They definitely taken revenge on them so far.
And really finding their stride on offense. And you can really see that 7-2 record coming out and showing their number 3 ranking. Because right now they're rated number 1 in the RPI, but number 3 according to the state. And the ball is going to be picked up again by the Raiders, moved back to Wagon, who's going to push the ball up the field, finds another girl in the center, and the ball is going to be taken back behind X. Sydney Abel working her defender, moving it up the alley, across the top to Wagon, who's going to drive it in, pulling it back out, looking for a defender. 2 cutters and another drive, and the shot and a score by the Raiders.
Another one by Wagon.
Number 19, Sydney Wigan.
As, again, adding to her textbook game tonight.
And you saw there just the fast movement. As soon as the ball was picked up by the Raiders, she cut to the goal and was able to get the ball on offense, and then just persistently driving and being able to find and work on her defenders and just get open by herself and make things work, but then also having the presence of mind to find the other open. And now the draw.
5:07 left in this first half. Raiders controlling it so far.
But the ball being intercepted by the Eagles and now being moved back the other way. Good ball movement. Raiders so far haven't stopped the ball. Still driving to the center. That's going to be number 1 Allie Gibb. And now the Eagles settling the ball, but they lost the ball, and now the ball is going to be moved back the other way with Maya Fair taking it up the field. And now the ball is going to be moved to Maya Fair. Back behind X to Sydney Abel. But the ball is going to be lost in the center, and there's going to be a scrum in the middle, and it's going to be called Eagle ball. And so it'll be another opportunity for the Eagles to settle it down on offense.
Looks like the goalie just caught that ball in the air and messed up what the Raiders were trying to set up.
Yeah, but that was a good transition, just getting the ball away from the Eagles side of the field. And now it's going to be another Eagle clear. Still being well defended by the Raiders, not letting anybody through. Now, Eagles with 10 seconds to get it over the half. Raiders still giving nothing up. And now the ball being moved all the way down the field, and it's going to go out of bounds, and it's going to be Raider ball.
Raiders again being like a fly, swarming around that ball and not letting anyone get the chance to have a clear out.
And now Raiders going back the other way. That's going to be number 8, Molly Moran, who gets checked. And the ball is going to stay with the Raiders. The Raiders really spread out now. Looks like we'll see if the Raiders can settle it down on offense. Wagon pushing the ball up the field, but now turning back and settling the ball. Number 20, Ferguson. And now moving it across the field, but cannot find anything. Now a lot of off-ball movement, find somebody inside, but it's going to be checked away, and it's going to stay Raiders ball and be a penalty with the clock just dipping past 2 minutes in the first half.
7-goal lead when it comes to halftime. Eagles going to have to find something and end themselves to try and get back into this game, but it looks like Raiders just keep on doing a good job and keeping the ball in their possession.
Yeah, and with a big wind-up, the ball's going to go out of bounds, and it's going to be taken by Sidney Abel at X. Looks like they're finding a ball. And now the ball is going to be worked behind X, trying to find a pass in the middle, but it's going to be intercepted by the Eagles. And now the Eagles moving it quickly the other way. And it's going to be lost, picked up by a Regis defender, and moving back the other way. Back to Sidney Wagon, who's pushing it. Picked up by two Valor defenders, but finds another man in the middle. And that's going to be a goal by the Raiders. Another assist by Wagon.
Sister chemistry came out right there as Grace gets her first goal of the night and Sidney gets another assist.
Yeah, and that's the connection that you see, sisters being able to find each other on the field pretty easily. And that's just a duo there with the middies. And now, 1:11 left to go in the first half. There's not going to be much for Valor to do in the remaining 71 seconds. Now the draw. Draw being set. Now some off-ball movement by the Eagles before the draw, but still picked up by the Raiders. And now it's going to be thrown back to Wagon, who's going to move it up the field and allow the Raiders to get set. Ferguson moving across the alley to Daly, working it over the top, trying to find an alley, shoots, and just to the left. And now it's going to be Abel taking the ball up from X, moving it across the alley. Now the Raiders trying to find it inside. Sidney Abel shoots and scores.
Great job there, Raiders. Again, showing their ball movement skills, and Eagles defense just struggling in this game, and Raiders are capitalizing on that and keep on putting some more points on that board.
And that's going to bring this goal differential to 9 here. 10-1 in the first half with 32 seconds left. And it's not looking great for the Eagles, who have just not been able to keep the ball on their side of the half.
Raiders definitely doing what they wanted to come out into this game as they put the metal, or the whatever that saying is.
Putting the pedal to the metal. Keeping that gas pedal all the way down, not letting up on Valor, and not letting what happened to them last season. But momentum can change quickly in lacrosse, so you can't truly count Valor out of this game. We'll have to see how they respond in the second half.
Raiders definitely want to come out in the second half pretending it's 0-0 and restarting the game and coming out with the same game plan.
Yeah, it's been working for them, especially just winning the draw game. Haven't lost draw since, and picked up again by the Raiders. And the ball moving quickly, and that's going to be just missed, going off the pipe, and picked up again by the Raiders, moving it inside, and it's going to go far left, and it's going to go out of bounds with 12 seconds left in the half.
Raiders really wanted to get one more goal before this half, but so close a few times right there, just off the pipe and then just left. Really good opportunities there.
Now another penalty, which could give the Raiders the opportunity they're looking for. And that's going to be a shot, sidearm, and it's going to be saved by the Eagles. And it's going to, looks like it's going to close out this half. And as the Raiders are going to half, we've just seen some dominant play out there, to being able to really control the ball, keep doing what they want to do on offense, moving the ball around, finding opportunities on the inside, finding the dodges and the matchups that they've seen. And what have you seen by the Eagles?
Poor defensively. Eagles really need to get together and figure out what the Raiders are picking them apart, and they got to find a way to stand their ground and swarm that ball just to try and get the some more offensive possession.
And then on the offensive side of the ball, and for the Eagles themselves, you've seen a few missed opportunities just with passes that have gone over their heads. So clearing that up, especially with the wind, of course, that's going to affect things, but they still need to find a way to be able to make things happen. Of course, their one goal coming off of a penalty, that's an easy goal, being able to find the shot there, but that's not going to come every time for them. So having that possession is going to be really important.
Indeed it is, and with that, I think we're going to take a break on the Raider Sports Network.
Welcome back to the Raiders Sports Network. We're bringing you the second half of the Raiders game against the Eagles. The Raiders right now are up 10-1 against the Valor Eagles. And right now we're going to see hopefully another powerful quarter or half by the Raiders.
Yes, and defensively, Eagles, I would not be surprised if they change it up as the Raiders were playing the outside more and looking for cutters on the inside, but Eagles struggling defensively, defending that, and would not be surprised if they came out with a different scheme.
Yeah, you could see them leaving a lot of guys open in the middle, trying to share men on the outside, but still leaving gaps, and then trying to play their aggressive press defense at the end, but still not being able to force turnovers. So I would expect something new as Wigan takes the face. And as the draw is being set, you cannot downplay the importance of draws themselves in this game, as Sydney has not lost a single draw tonight except for the one that was lost to a penalty. And so now as she takes it, it could give the Raiders another opportunity to push the ball up the field. Now the draw is going up, and it's going to be taken back down, but it's going to be checked, and it's going to be Raider ball, and we could be looking for a card here potentially with the aggression on that, but it looks like it's just going to be given to the Raiders and allowing Sydney to take it up the field.
Tension starts getting a little bit too high. I would not be surprised to see a little bit more of those type of plays, as Eagles just have so much heart in this game. They're not happy when they're losing by this much.
Yeah, and it's tough, especially when you have like movements like that where the Raiders can just pick the ball up after the Eagles knocked it down, and that can get into somebody's head. And now it's going to be a dodge down the alley and being moved across the goal, and it's going to be dropped but recovered by the Raiders, moving it back inside to an open man who's just going to hit pipe, and it's going to bounce out to outside, and it's going to be recovered again by the Raiders, moving it quickly inside, back up top. The Raiders looking for a cutter inside, and that's going to be a shooting space penalty on the Eagles.
Eagles, again, coming out on a man-on-man defense, but playing a little slower and trying to slow down the Raiders' fast-paced offense.
And now, after the penalty, the shot's going to be saved by Tisdale. Looking for an open man again. And again, the Raiders with a good ride. Now the Eagles changing it up, looking for an attackman down the field, but it's going to be lost, and the ball is going to be still in the scrum, and it looks like it's going to be recovered by Wagon. It looks like it's going to be a check. And it looks like it's going to be a yellow card on Altman. And it's going to be a slash, which would put the Eagles down a man for a minute.
And again, seeing the emotion in the Eagles as she came off the field, she threw the stick, and just showing a lot of anger. They're not used to being in this type of place, down by 9 goals.
Yeah, now the Raiders capitalizing on their man-up situation, moving the ball quickly, but it's going to be intercepted by the Eagles. And it's going to be put into a scrum on the far side of the field. The ball being pushed towards the out of bounds, but it's going to be recovered by the Raiders, moving it quickly inside, across to an open man on the other side of the field, but it's going to be saved by the Eagles, but recovered by the Raiders, moving it back across inside. Ball's going to be put on the ground, moving it out. And now it looks like it's going to go out of bounds on the far side of the field, but it's going to stay Raider ball.
Two great saves there by Tisdale as Eagles finding ways to take the ball but unable to keep that possession to transfer it over to an offensive attack.
And now this is going to be a tough situation for the Raiders to be in, but being able to move the ball out. But the ball's going to be put down on the ground, but it's going to be picked up by the Eagles, and now it's going to be moving the other way. And hopefully the Eagles would be able to settle this ball on offense if they can get it past the Raiders Raiders ride. Back to Tisdale, the goalie. Looking for a man. Looks like the goalie's going to be played outside the box. And looks like she's going to stop the ball, giving her an opportunity to settle it. And another opportunity to find a man up the field. Tisdale finding number 9 in the middle. Moving across the field. The ball nearly intercepted by the Raiders. And now recovered. And now the ball is going to go back the other way. Finding an open man. Pass is dropped. Moving it past. And that's going to be another goal.
Great shot there. Taking it a little bit deeper in that first deep shot that we've seen tonight. Most of the other goals have been pretty close to the net. But finding an open space and capitalizing on that opportunity as they took the ball from the Eagles again.
Running. I think that was. And that goal again by Grace Wigan.
Goal number 18, Gracie Wigan.
Second one tonight. Both the two sisters having a great game.
Yeah, and that was just another opportunity. The ball was picked up, and even though she dropped the pass, was able to recover it, get it settled, and find that shot. And that's going to put the Raiders into a running clock situation, allowing them to slow the pace down and let the clock tick down. And Sydney Wagon, again, picking up the draw, driving it in, finding another man on the right, and now the Raiders settling the ball, moving it down past X. Raiders working on their man. Almost shot, but drawn back out.
Another penalty is going to be called as Eagles again just struggling to keep it clean.
And a quick pass and shot, and that's going to be another goal for the Raiders, bringing the score to 12-1.
Great job there as she caught the Eagle defender on her heels and took that inside lane and just put it in the back of the net.
Yeah, and finding again that those leaving girls wide open on the crease. That's a one-on-one with a goalie, and that's a really tough shot to save. And that's not a situation you want to put your goalie in.
About 18 minutes left. Doing great job, Raiders. Again, coming in the second half with a lot of aggression and speed.
Really not letting up, getting those two goals early, and being able to put the clock into a running clock situation, allowing the Raiders to really make this game go a lot faster. And another draw taken by Sydney Wagon. This time moved over, but picked up. And that's going to be a shooting space penalty again.
On those draws, Sydney's really using her basketball skills. She uses her body to get in position, to jump up, and like a rebound, get that ball.
Yeah, and she's not afraid to body up other players on the field. And that really sets her apart here. Now, Sydney again with the ball, driving, trying to find this shot herself, but it's going to be saved by Tisdale. And now, ball moved quickly, checked by Gracie Wagon to her sister, finding the, and that's going to be a quick 4 passes, and that's going to set another goal for the Raiders, 13-1.
Yes, right when the Eagles get their possession, they're trying to move it up to the field as fast as possible to get a quick goal, but Raiders using that opportunity with that sloppy play to get possession of that ball, and like you said, 4 passes to score that one, showing great skills.
Yeah, and Ferguson with a goal, but assisted by another player but assisted by Lord, who was able to not selfishly take that ball, although she had a shot, and find another open man closer to the goal. But again, that check, though, to start that play, the Eagles player leaving her ball hanging, her stick hanging, allowing Grace to check it and get that ball up. And it looks like there's going to be some movements. And it looks like Valor's calling for a stick check on Lord. So while they're figuring that out, we will take a timeout here on the Raider Sports Network. And now back for the draw. Sydney again, getting the draw, getting the ball back, but dropping it. And now there's going to be a scrum on the field. Both sides fighting for the ball. The Eagles, although they're still down by 12, not giving up on any play, fighting for that ball, but losing it to the Raiders, who are now settling it down on offense. Now the Raiders moving it down behind X. And the ball is going to be lost in the middle, but picked up by the Raiders, quickly moved, but the ball is going to go outside.
Just keep on going.
Now ball play being moved up again. The Eagles moving the ball quickly up the field. That's number 9, Nikolai, moving it up the field. So far, no Raiders have stopped her, but she's going to move the ball to X. Passing it across. It looks like the Eagles are finally going to be able to settle the ball on their side of the field. Moving it quickly inside. Now trying to move the ball around the perimeter. Getting some subs in on the defensive half of the field, giving their defenders a break. It looks like they're setting up a sweep with two girls in the center. Ball moving around.
Raiders' defense has not been tested a lot tonight, but showing strong defense right now.
And now the ball going to be put down on the ground again by the Eagles, and it's going to stay Eagle ball with 14-17 left in the half. Now the Eagles moving the ball again, waiting, finding an open shot, almost in there, but off the pipe, and it's going to be moving the other way. The Raiders taking it up the field. And now it's going to be moved across to Sydney, who's going to be running it down the field. Wheels around, finds another girl in the center, almost loses it. It's going to be a scrum picked up by the Raiders and moved back out across to the right alley. Looks like the Raiders are going to be looking for a dodge here. Some off-ball picks. And now Fair, working on her defender, moving it across. Another sweeping dodge and finding a girl down low, bringing it through X. Now working it back up top. The Raiders almost finding a girl inside, but it's going to be picked up by Tisdale, who's going to be moving it out and up and just chucking it across the field.
Tisdale showing a little bit better goaltending in the second half. She's had a few very good saves.
And now Allie Gibb moving it up the field, finding 22, Rizmani, who's going to be working on our defender, shooting and scoring, and that's going to be a goal for the Eagles by 22, Rizmani.
Took them a little bit to get that goal, but great job there as, again, she used a play that we saw earlier in this game and took the low ball, bouncing ball, and got it in the back of the net.
And that was a good transition play, and that's what the Raiders, and that's what the Eagles really have been looking for, being able to get the ball moving in transition and capitalizing on an unsettled situation with Gibb finding Rizmani, who's able to reel back on her defender and just find an open shot in the goal. And although it only brings the differential down to 11, it's still something that the Eagles can hold on to in this game as the clock ticks down below 12 minutes. Now an interesting strategy here.
Thank you. Valor goal, number 22, Lauren.
Oh, and now it looks like they're going to be negating the draw, giving the ball directly to the Eagles, who are going to be able to push it up unfettered. And now we have Gibb pushing the ball up the field, but being stopped by the Raider defense. And now the Eagles moving them again, but finding the pipe. And now it's going to be going back the other way. This is the first time that we've seen Batuello really have to work with the ball on a clear. Finding a goal in the middle. The Raiders are moving the ball back up the field. And now working it up the right side. One pass. Now the ball is going to be settled on the Raider side of the ball. Moving the ball behind X. And it looks like there's going to be a penalty on the Eagles. And it is going to remain Raider ball behind the goal.
Looks like both teams have slowed down a little bit, catching their air and setting up more of a smart play. And Eagles finding a little bit of momentum here, but Raiders quickly going to try and take that back.
Yeah, and that's what you can do. Capitalizing on momentum is definitely going to be important here for the Eagles, especially just going into the end of the game. But the Raiders still moving the ball around, kind of slowing it down, letting them do their best work. But the Eagles still pressing out really aggressively on their man. And now the Raiders pushing it inside, but the ball is going to be almost is going to almost roll into the goal. And
they did call it a goal there.
Yeah.
Sloppy play there by the goalie, but lucky bounce for the Raiders, and they will accept that one, no matter how pretty it is.
And it looks like they're going to give that goal to Mariah Daly.
An assist by Gracie Wagon.
Even though it was, of course, just a mucked play by Tisdale.
8 minutes and 48 seconds left in this game. Running clock again, and Raiders really doing what they wanted to do, as it looks like the Eagles are going to take a quick timeout.
And with that timeout, we're going to take another timeout here on the Raider Sports Network. And we're back on the Raiders Sports Network with 8:37 to go in the second half. The Raiders up 14-2, and now the draw being taken again by Wagon. And this time, the Eagles picking up the draw for once. But the scrum still out and looks like it's going to be picked up by the Raiders. So now Abel moving it across to Wagon. Out to the alley. Now the Raiders slowing the ball down. Number 12, Kate Lord. Moving across the field, driving down the alley. And trying to find a shot, and they put it into the back of the goal. And that's going to be another. And that is going to be a goal by number 12, Kate Lord.
Looks like the Eagles or Raiders doing a good job spreading the Eagles defense out and then quickly collapsing them and making them a little bit discombobulated in the crease.
Yeah, and that assist by Lord to Ferguson. Showing some, again, the ball movement that the Raiders are able to maintain here, even in these conditions.
7 minutes left with the running clock, and Raiders just dominating throughout this game.
Yeah, 15-2. Wagon again taking the draw. And the draw is up. And it looks like it's going to be a check on the Eagles, which means it's going to be Raider ball going the other way. And the Raiders still moving the ball quickly, finding each other. Pass dropped, and it's going to be picked up by the Eagles. And that was just a hustle play. Now that ground ball there, she just ran by the other Eagle defenders. Was able to pick that one up, and it's going to be another penalty on the Eagles.
Raiders not having a flawless game tonight, having a little bit of sloppy play, but doing a great job and really improving on the season as they just keep on rising top.
Yeah, and now Sydney driving it in, but not finding anyone, wheeling it back out, driving again, and putting a shot on the ground, but it's going to be intercepted by the Eagles, and now the Eagles are going to be running the other way, and looks like that's going to be a charge. But it's going to stay Eagle ball. That was an aggressive play there, but the ball staying with the Eagles, and now it's going to be moved quickly. Another transition play by the Eagles. The ball put on the ground. It's being fought over, and it's going to be picked up by Sydney Abel, who's moving it across the field. Now the Raiders are going to have another chance to settle it with 5 minutes to go. The Raiders settling the ball down, moving the ball across, down the right alley. And now a ball, find. That's going to be a quick cut across the middle. We're going to find they find the back of the net again. And that's going to be Corcoran with a goal this time.
Raiders just keep on pushing up against this Eagles defense, and Eagles defense struggling throughout this game and could not find a way to stop this aggressive play.
Yeah, and just not being able to keep track of the cutters on the offside of the ball, allowing Wagon to get yet another assist.
It'll be 4 minutes and 12 seconds left in this game. As some Valor girls looking a little upset, but really have a lot to learn from this game, and Raiders take it away from Leslott and how good they actually can be.
And really pushing through the elements with the wind dying down by now, the temperature still dropping. Now the draw is going to go low this time, still picked up by the Raiders. Being moved down quickly, down the alley. Moving it around to X. Raiders working on the outside. Finding a man in the inside. Ball being put on the ground, picked up by an Eagle defender. Back to Tisdale. Tisdale all alone, finding Altman again, who's running up the field, almost checked, and allowing the Eagles to get another shot at a goal this time. Eagles settling it down, moving it down the right alley. See, Cutters on the backside. Eagles really slowing the ball down. Ali Gibb with the ball. Walking it around to X. With a lot of off-ball movement, trying to clear that left side of the field to allow Gibb to work one-on-one against her defender. Moving it up to number 7, Egerbert. And now again, we see the Eagles really trying to spread the field, but that's going to be a charge on the Raiders, giving Altman a chance to drive the goal. Picked up, a spin back, and she's going to look inside, and the Eagles not going to be able to find a goal. Moving it back out, working the ball around X.
Raiders just swarming the ball and not giving them any opportunities to take a shot.
Yeah, and you can see the Eagles really trying to combat that by spreading out the field and bunching up on the off ball. But the Eagles being able to find another goal, bringing the score to 3-16.
A minute and 12 seconds left in this game. A little too late there for that goal, but still gives them a little hope. Raiders just doing defensively was doing a great job, and then just had a little bit of mistake and led to an Eagle score.
Yeah, and that was Ali Gibb, a sophomore here for the Eagles, showing some young talent out there, which could give some hope. And her ability and now as time's winding down, we can really start to look to the future for both of these teams. With the Raiders elevating to 8-2, this is going to be a really important season for them right now, beating this Valor team, staying in the RPI and otherwise. And that's going to be yet another draw taken by Wagon, who's going to be tripped up in the back. And it looks like she's going to be a little slow to getting up. But the clock winding down, under 15 to go. And now we're going to be 10 seconds. And looks like the Raiders are going to be looking for one last shot as time expires. But a penalty is going to run out time, and that's going to be the final. The final score, Regis Jesuit 16, Valor 3. And now the Raiders celebrating on their side of the field.
It's a great game by the Raiders as they came out fast and kept that momentum up throughout the game, kept on scoring the goals, and Valor could not find a way to get into this game. Raiders taking a fast and easy lead, and they coasted throughout the rest of this game, just putting up some easy goals.
And you saw some dominance by Wagon on the draws, being able to confidently take those every time. And, this is an important game, too, for the coach, Catherine Ames, whose first year as the Raider head coach. She had previously been a coach at Creek, and now coming back and being able to prove that she can beat this Valor team. And that's going to be important in the years to come. And now, as the Raiders